Hello and welcome, and this is something rather exciting, something I haven't done before. What I'm actually showing you before the release is a new product that I'm working on, and I get a few emails from people saying that they really like the demo movies and a lot of time goes into it. Well, they're right. A lot of time does go into making the movies because it's the showcase, and I thought I'd show you. I'm kind of, I don't know, 80-90% there with this one. Well, what is it for a start off? It is a plugin called Grid Slideshow, and the other two slideshow plugins that I've released have been very successful. So I thought about this one, had this one in the back of my mind for a while, and I thought I'd give it a go. Right, without saying anything else, let's have a play of the timeline and see what it's like. I won't go full screen, but there's a few reasons for that. So you can see the GUI. You can also see, you can see the timeline as it happens. So let's give this a play. So as you can see, it's a combination of transitions, some grids, some offsets, some moves. I'll stop it there, the one we came in. I really like this image because what you have the two images opposing each other. So you have the VW Beetle in nice grungy black and white, broken up with the offsets. As you can see in the 16th, you see the wheel. Let me use the cursor here. You see the wheel here is offset. All these are bang on with the math, they're offset. And then you've also got the these eyes here in colour against, and the two images move against each other. So this one's going right, that one's going left. It's all down to pixel. It's pixel perfect. There's quite a lot of maths involved in making plugins, and I really like that. That's kind of like that's probably going to be the product icon, I think, because it's just, for me, it's a very strong image, graphic image, and I really like that. Let's keep going. Right, I tend to fine-tune everything as well. I make it, then I go back and have a fiddle with it, leave it for a day, go back and have another fiddle with it for a day, because you don't get to see everything the first time you make it. And I never like to make things in a rush in one go, although my daytime job in broadcast television, that's exactly what I do. So it's nice to have a bit of time to be able to finesse things. Now here you see I'm really picky with text. Graphic design and text is really hard to do well, and what annoys me on this is the fact that this F doesn't go up to the edge here and the T goes over the line there, and that annoys me. I'm not OCD about stuff, it's just, well, my graphic designer, I actually employ a graphic designer to do bits and pieces. His teacher said to him every pixel counts, and I think that is very, very good for this situation. So why don't we just have a quick fiddle with this? I might have to drop it down. Actually, it's the right. It is actually the right size. That's a bit of luck. And drop that into the corner. So now we've got this F in the corner there, and the T goes into the corner, and that sits quite nicely. I mean, I could drop the rendering down to this line here, but yeah, it's going to look a bit wrong. So I'm going to keep it up like that. Now this is the bit I'm working on. It all goes a bit kind of like, you need, at the end, I really like this image of the girl. That's really strong. And I like the grid coming in. And we end on the name of the plugin, as you should do. But that's the bit where I'm struggling, because at the end you need kind of like two or three really good images, because that's the last thing people are going to see on there. And also, I get questions. I get quite a lot of questions from people saying, where'd you get your music from? And this is going to give it all away. Although, I don't know, you might be able to Shazam tracks. But as you can see here, ANW, and that's Audio Network. They've got some really good music. I wish I had an affiliate link for them, but they don't do that. One tip here, you can see I've got two edits. And the price between the 60-second edit and the 3-minute edit is only about, for the use online, web and the stuff I'm doing, not broadcast. The price is only, it's only about $15, $20 more, something like that. So I end up buying the 3-minute 20 version and then cutting it down myself. Really quite easy to do. And I've got some little dissolves on here because what I've done is I've actually bailed out of the intro. So this is actually, I was pointing to it then, I can't really point to it. You won't see that. On here is the beginning of the track, but the intro actually lasts too long. Actually, if I can show you if I just put that into there. Here you go, this intro goes on for, that's a bit quiet, but I hope you hear that. See, it doesn't kick in after the, it actually kicks in here. I think that's where I probably joined it up to. Yeah, that's exactly where I joined it up to. Little professional editor's trick there. I learnt it from another editor, is to put a little dissolve over the music. You need to get it right. You need to beat match it perfectly. But sometimes when you edit music, there's a note before the note you want to come in that has to be in, or likewise a note afterwards, and putting a dissolve on it just tends to ease it slightly. If it's electronic music, you can normally do it with a cut. It's like vocals. Vocals always come in just before the beat you want or just after. There aren't any vocals on this one, but again, there's we can actually, I think you can actually hear it on here because the end of the track here has got more instruments, for want of a better phrase, in it. So you need a smooth transition. Interesting bit of orange there. Don't know where that's coming from. So not happy at all, is it? I mean, you've got to bear in mind that I'm actually running ScreenFlow at the same time as I'm doing this, and that's recording this iMac Pro output at whatever it is. And here you can look, we're in one of these crazy render loops that Final Cut Pro tends to get into every now and then. Hopefully that might have solved it. So what does this plugin do? Well, it does a slideshow based on a grid, and there are different levels that you do to build the slideshow. First of all, as you've probably seen, you can use video or stills. It doesn't really matter. With stills, they're probably higher resolution, and you can blow them up bigger. I mean, let's just blow this one up just to show you. This timeline is actually a 4K timeline. It says 4K there, but let's prove it while we're here. So projects, 4K is that one, and up here we go, 380 2160. 4K, okay, it's UHD. You know what I mean on there. But it's 4K really. Okay, let's open this up just to show you the resolution. There, now obviously this is going to be squished down to 1920 by 1080, but hopefully you might be able to see the detail in the hair, etc. So I think this is something like a 5000 wide photo moving. I mean, the thing about building in 4K and you're moving it, you've got to have extra pixels to allow it to be moved. So that's why, I mean, it's great to use stills to get that resolution. But here we go. I've actually put it into a compound clip. Now, why does it go into a compound clip? Because if you put a move on it, as we can see, we've got a move here. So these are actually effects. You'll find them in the effect browser. Putting a move on it, if you put it in a compound clip, the compound clip is at the resolution of your project, and therefore the move will act on the pixels at the resolution in the project. So if you've got, say, a picture that's let's say 10K wide, and you put a move on, it will go half the speed of a 5K wide picture with the same effect on it. So by putting it in a compound clip, it gives you the ability for the thing to move at the same same rate. And that's especially important if you're trying to put a graphic over the top, like on our previous slideshows, especially the glass slideshow, where everything moves on, slides on, but it looks as if it's stuck to the background. And it has to be perfect. The maths has to be right, because the eye is very, very, very critical about differences. It can pick up minute changes in movement. I suppose it's because, well, you know, we're cavemen and we're used to kind of going out and hunting and looking at things. But your eye and your brain is calculating, you know, millions of calculations every second to work out where everything is, and it's very, very sensitive. So that's why the maths has to be absolutely perfect, and that's why everything on here is put into a compound clip. And I might get around to showing you why we do it in a compound clip with as well, because what we do is we do a matte inside a compound clip. So on here you can see this is the matte that's over the top. It's just straight put on the top. You've got controls for the color and how it builds in. This is only kind of like a thirds one. We're going to have a look at a bit more, one that's a bit more complicated in a while. And then we've got an offset, which is the O. And here we see you can control each panel for size and where it is XY on there. There's not much of you've only got a little bit of a change there. And then this is the actual lines across the horizontal thirds. You can control, again, the color, the width, and a build-in is a nice fade in and out, or you can blur them or put a drop shadow on. And I don't know if you can see that in 1080. Let's put it a bit more distance. There you go. I don't want to select anything. I want to go back like that. Keep it nice and clean on there. So you've got an in transition and an out transition butted up. Then going on to the next clip, it uses the same kind of transition, but it's actually in ninths. So that's, I'm going to quite like that because it comes from the center. You can see the girl's lips coming in on there. Same thing. There's an offset, so you can see her hat here is slightly offset, just to give it a bit more interest. So it doesn't look like it's just a picture with a grid on it. It looks like it's, you know, it looks like it's actually separated up into something. You know, you wouldn't want to sit there and break everything up into ninths or even sixteenths. So by using the offset, again, I'm pointing at the screen. By using the offset title over the top, it does that for you. Again, you can see you've got nine controls here. And if I go for the 5 one, which should be the middle, there you go. You can see, you can play around. It actually does yeah, it does rotation as well. I don't know if you'd ever use that, but I thought I'd put that in. It's a bit bonkers, I know, but there you go. So the transition happens at the cut point when it's fully at the color. I'll show you a bit later how you can reveal something underneath. There's another method of doing that on there. But let's have a look at the 16th, one of the 16ths. Let's have a look at the end shot of this one. Or shall we? Yeah, we can do, because this is revealing to black and it comes up. So I mean, I could actually put this to be any color, I suppose, like that, but it's going to black. And also I could actually drop these two graphics underneath so that you can actually see it underneath like that. I mean, I actually quite prefer that, actually. It's quite cool. Let's just put that down there. So you're left with that type of thing with the graphic over the top of it. I might even keep that. It'd be interesting to compare this timeline to the actual, to the finished product to see what happens. Yeah, I quite like that. Although you can see that we've still got the line over there, so we'd probably have to bring that back to somewhere there. So when it gets rid of it, the overlays have got build in and build out. So you see we've got the build out there, so that should fade out. It fades. No, it doesn't fade in because I haven't got it checked. There you go. It's a fade in and a fade out on there. Now, slightly different, because without doing this method, when you put the matte over the top, you won't see it. It'll just go to black because it's just a straight overlay. So what I can do is open this compound clip up and show you. It's actually a compound clip in a compound clip. So we've got the compound clip because on there we've got this move. Remember I said about the maths and the pixel accuracy to get everything moving correctly. And you can go down as many layers as you want with compound clips. It's a really handy tool. Once you get your head around how they work, it can be really, really effective to build up complicated things that you just couldn't do in any other NLE and at speed. And bear in mind this is 4K. I'm also doing a screen recording and it's playing. We had a few orange flashes, but I really think that's the screen recording playing up. But let's get back to this. What we've got here is the matte over the top. Now, if you're eagle-eyed, you'll see it's white. Why is it white but we're seeing black? Because I'm using it, I've got the overlay, the compositing method to stencil alpha. So what it does, it takes that white matte and knocks the hole out of the actual image. So it's taking the image back to transparent. This is not black, it's transparent. And I could actually go into the preferences. Oh, where is it going to be? It's going to be in the last one I hit, isn't it? Or is it? No, playback. Play, there you go. I did it first time, I think. Checkerboard. Okay, why can't I see the checkerboard? It is actually going to checkerboard. It should be going to transparent there. That's interesting. Maybe you have to do it on a reset. Trust me, because if we hop back out of that, then it reveals it going to there. If you put it on top, just on top of the compound clip, it would just go to black, and then the graphic would cut on, which would, in my book, be a bit ugly. But I actually prefer, I mean, I don't like that, the clock's going to go. And possibly also what I'd do is I'll move all this down. Too far. This is 4K, bear in mind. Yeah, maybe a bit less on there. Well, I'll have a play with it. It doesn't really fit. There we go. I think I'll leave it like that for the time being. What else can I tell you? I can quickly take you through what we've got in here. So the numbers are all the same. I tried to make this as logical as possible. There's quite a few of these in there. Is there an easy way to say how many is in a group without getting FX Factory out? I don't know. I think there's about 60 different elements. So if you look at, say, something like, let's take the bottom one, the 8ths vertical. Oh, and here's the transparent background. But I mean, it looks, yeah, maybe I'll put it back to black. Preferences, black. There you go, that's a bit better. We call it it's called 252 on here, 8ths vertical. So that's the lines. Then the offsets, the one where you control each panel's position, is the same number, same number, 52. So that's 252. Then 252 is the offset. Again, with the masks are 452 on there. The masks, how do you use the masks? Well, possibly the easiest one is to show you that. That's done with the masks. That's the 16ths. And it's got the first 3 16ths turned on for that one and the rest turned on. So if we dig, well, let's go, why not? Let's go and have a look at it. So we've got the white coming in. The 16ths is this, that 16th is the lines. Then we've got 2 compound clips underneath there. The girl and there. I think that is the, I've got to work out what I did myself here. So that's an offset. You can't really see. That's not really kind of like. No, there you go. There you can see the offset there. Maybe that needs a bit more to get the. You won't see an offset there because it's just pure color. Maybe there needs a bit more in there. You don't want to mess around with the face too much because you obviously make it look a bit funny. But if we dig into this one here, somehow I put a mask over the top of it. I'm just trying to work out how. It might be that. I know what I've done. I have moved, or have I? I've actually. That's got a zoom and a move left at the same time, right? So is it just that I think the VW has got a mask on and underneath is the eyes, okay? So let's have a look. Yeah, here you can see this is the mask. So let's just prove it by toggling one of these on and off, okay? Really, what I've tried to do is build a kit of parts, and you can build a really simple slideshow, or you can make something actually really complicated that, you know, without Final Cut Pro 10 working, you'd have to go off to After Effects or Motion or something like that. And what I love about working like this with a modular plugin in Final Cut Pro 10 is you can just adjust it. I mean, I'm you know, this is to music. And I can just go in and I can just move anything. Everything's live, nothing's baked in. And you know, the modularity of it enables you to do that. And that's why a plugin like this takes a bit of a while to work out, first of all, how to do, and secondly, build it. Because you've got to go through and do all the maths. So we've got masks there. Again, 452 is the masks, and then the transitions, 552. There's two lots of 552, one for coming in and one for coming out. So if you stick with 52s on here, you know that it's going to be the eighths, and they're all going to match up. It's all going to be lovely, no overlaps, etc. Especially when you've got the fine lines like this, because all the maths is perfect. I mean, for those who build plugins, it's not built in 4K. It's built in a 1920 by 1080 project, but it expands up to do 4K. So you don't need to build it in 4K. Stuff like graphics that aren't rasterized are fine as well. They all scale. So things like you know, the social media plugin that I've got on offer, they're all built with vector graphics, and you can blow them up as large as you can, as you know, as long as your machine will hold it. But as I said, made in 1920 by 1080. Will it work in square videos? Probably not, unless you put it in a compound clip and do it all in a 1920 by 1080 compound clip, or a 3840 by 2160 compound clip, and then put that in with the overlap on the edges. But if you've got to bear in mind that some of this, if you're going to take it into square, you're going to lose a bit of edge on here. So, you know, the quarters will work, because there'll always be quarters, and the halves will work because they'll be halves if you put them into the compound clip. Why not use snapshots to do a different version that recognizes it? You know, in Motion you can actually put different aspect ratio snapshots, because the maths involved would be terrible. It'd actually be easier to build a separate version for a square. And that's what I've actually done with the viral video plugins. I made separate versions. Slightly confusing for people, because if they drop a square one on a 1920 by 1080 project, then they lose the edges. But when you build a complicated plugin, the snapshots can make things a bit awkward if you try and use it. So that's why I built different versions. Now, what I was going to do is I was just going to show you the and shall I do it on this one? Let's open this one up again and just show you one really nice thing on the mat, and it'll work on this. So as you can see at the moment, it's 16th. So this is a 16th wipe. Although I'm using it as a mat, it will show you an example. on here, you have a choice of where to start the boxes. Because it's built using a replicator within Final Cut Pro 10, basically I'm using all their hard work. I can actually say start at upper left. So that comes on from the upper left. I can build on by row across or by column, like that. Or what I can do is I can actually do it randomly, which is, I mean, when I started building this plugin, I built each one, with built each 16th on its own with the opacity, and I thought what I can do is I can put a behavior on the opacity and then build that into a rig and then have options. And then I thought, no, there must be a better way with a replicator. And that's exactly what I've done. So again, taking all the advantage. If you don't like the way that comes in, I mean, if you say, let's just prove it. Let's say I want her eye to be the last thing to go out. All I've got to do is mash this random order thing here, which is a random order number generator. And there you go, that might work. Well, maybe not. Let's go to the last. Let's prove it, There you go. So I want her eyes to be the last thing that I see when the mat goes. Yeah, so you can do that. But many possibilities in there. And that actually might work with what I've got here. There you go, actually seeing this in situ being worked on. Quite like that. Mike might actually keep it. And there you can see the 16th. That's the offsets. That's all of the offsets on there. And look, and you can actually see down here, I haven't done it properly because all these are size. And I've labeled that one upscale, which is wrong. So that'll be fixed before the plugin goes out on there. And that's about it. I mean, I really like it. I really like this image because what it enables you to do with just a bit of thought and a bit of building is take some average images and turn them into something that's really nice. And if you're like me, I edit some corporate videos, and I edited a corporate video on sewage pipes once, believe it or not. You have to jazz it up. You want an opener. I mean, you can use this for broadcast or anything, videography, some weddings. I mean, it might be nice with the 16ths going through kind of like a wedding portfolio, something like that. So there are many, many uses for it. But I mean, it took a lot of thinking. It's been, I'd say, development-wise, I've had this ticking over for 2-3 months. Was going to release it before Christmas, and then obviously came out with Tracking Callouts because FX Factory developed the tracker, and that's been hugely successful. And I've got another tracker thing coming out soon. So this has been on the back boiler, but I'd say 2 or 3 months to get this to the stage. And there've been many occasions where, as I said, I've built a few bits and pieces, then had to throw it all away and start again because you go, oh yeah, okay, now I understand, how to do that. So there you go. Now, when is this going to get released? I'm not too sure. Probably, after this sneaky peek, you're looking within a week or so. So please keep your eyes out for it. And again, thank you for all the support from everybody. We've had a great year so far, and this is, well, I'm recording this in January. It might be February by the time you see it. Great response so far, and really like to make products that make editors' lives easier and make great looking stuff. So that's what I aim to do. That's about it. So let me know if you found this sneaky peek interesting. I would quite like showing off the timeline and how you do stuff, because I think we're all here to learn, and if we can make editors' lives easier, then that's a good thing. And let me know if you found it helpful, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.